Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's me, Teri Hunter. It's Sunday, January 20th, 2019, and I'm here with this week's Messages from Your Angels by Astrological Rising Sign, by your Ascendant, everybody. If you don't know what your Ascendant is, you can go to www.astrolotta.com and you can, there's a free birth chart calculator there. So you can go there. The other thing I wanted to talk about, you guys, is I wanted to start off a little bit about, people get psychic readings. I'm doing these messages from your angels, and I kind of wanted to define what I think we intuitives, psychics, hi, Rachel, what we do. I don't think we're predicting your future. What I believe we're doing, hi, Tiffany, is we are tapping into your energetic momentum. There's a certain belief that we all have, and we take on our actions based on those beliefs. So if we put enough focus into a belief, and a belief is just a thought that we have repeatedly, that we learn through our environment, through our parents, through our upbringing. So as we focus in on that, it creates this energetic momentum. And then the intuitive comes in and taps into that momentum. It does not take away your free will and choice, you guys. So we can do an intuitive reading, see a certain momentum, and if the momentum is such, let's say you've jumped out of an airplane, the momentum is such at that point that you know you're coming to Earth. So anywhere along the road, if you haven't jumped out of the plane yet, there's still the possibility that the momentum can shift. I hope that made sense, because I don't want you to ever give up your power to an intuitive or to someone who does a reading for you and says, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and that's going to happen, because it's not necessarily always set in stone. You have free will. And if you shift your momentum, shift your belief, shift your focus, you can also shift the dynamic. Okay, so let's start with our readings today. So these are all by your rising sign, by your ascendant. Again, I'm going to repeat, if you don't know what that is, you can always go to astrolotta.com. There's a free birth chart calculator there. We're going to start with Aries. I've tried going backwards, guys, just to do something different, and I forgot Cancer. So hi, Kentucky, welcome. So I'm going to stick to the program here. Okay, what does Spirit want to say for Aries this week? Our first angel is Crystal. The second is Celeste. The third is Azure. And the final is Francesca. Okay, so Crystal says, have faith and hope, because there's more on the horizon that you can't see. Hello, Spain. Hello, Kentucky. I love this energy of Crystal, because what she's really doing and saying to me is that as I put my attention and my intention in the experience I want to have, I then invite Spirit, my guides, my angels, and all those that watch over me to start to go into action and put things into place that I may not be aware of. Here is Celeste in my opportunity or my obstacle, offering Aries a new job or a new place of employment. Hello, London. Hello, Manchester. Oh, yay. I want to say this about Celeste. Oftentimes, it can be a physical move to a new place of employment or a new home. But for me, again, this is all about how I think. Where you can put me anywhere in the world. You can put me in Bangladesh, and I'm going to have a certain way of thinking. So as I allow my shifting of my thinking, and I want to say this to my Aries. Lately, it's occurred to me that lots of us tend to look at our lives or look at our situations, and we go to a certain period of time and how we think. And as we get older and as we grow, we are evolving. So even our opinions, our thoughts, our feelings are shifting. And what Celeste is offering and what Azure is saying in the Angel's Advice, Aries, that as you shift the way you're thinking, allow for yourselves to kind of sit in a suspension a little bit. Maybe, you need to just I don't want to say calm down, but just sort of sit back and observe where is Spirit leading you next. Because Azure is saying your desired outcome will happen. Don't have to force it to happen. And then Francesca is backing that up in the final position, saying, what are you going to visualize? Are you going to visualize the obstacles? Are you going to visualize the things that are really, really challenging? Or are you going to visualize the outcome that you want and sit in that vibration? everything, even this table that I'm sitting in front of, is vibrating. It's vibrating very densely, so it appears to be solid, but everything is in a vibration. So as you sit, Aries, in that faithful place of where you want to be, then you invite spirit to show you something new and different. So this is very exciting for me because I'm an Aries rising. And I'm just looking forward to things moving forward. All right, everybody. So glad you could be here. Okay, so let's go on to Taurus. What does Spirit have to say for Taurus this week? And again, you guys, you can always check. I check my rising. I'm an Aries rising, and I'm a Taurus moon. And I always think it's important to check your moon because, as I was just talking about, what we believe is based on our emotions. How we feel about something. So being able to go to your moon sign as well will let you know how you're going to emotionally process what Spirit is offering on your rising sign. Okay. All right, our first angel is Layla. The second is Ray. The third is Azure again, and then Archangel Uriel. Okay, so Taurus. Layla is my angel of spending time out in nature, allowing God and the angels to use nature to give me signs and omens. And it was kind of funny, you guys. I was on doing a session for a client the other day, and I was telling him this very thing about looking out into nature. And I looked up, and there was a red-tailed hawk sitting on the telephone pole right outside my window. So for me, hawk is a huge totem about rising above my fear, kind of looking at things from a more broader perspective than getting down into the meat and the potatoes of it and thinking that that's the way things are going. Because I have Ray here. Ray is sitting in this meditative position, connecting her power center with her heart chakra, and this is a blue and a green stripe. So that's your heart chakra and your throat chakra. She's literally going to Spirit and thanking them for her desires, because here's Azure again saying your desired outcome will happen in the very near future. Don't try to force it. So this feels a little bit like a running theme between Aries and Taurus, because I have Archangel Uriel here, and Archangel Uriel helps us deal with frustration, anger, unforgiveness. And in this respect, I think it's frustration. And this is why I think Spirit is asking you to take some time in nature, allow yourself a little bit of decompression, because then Spirit can show you signs and omens. I tend to, when I'm concerned about resources, money, those kind of things, and I take my nature walks, I'll see bunnies. And it always brings sort of this warm feeling to me, because bunnies are so prolific. So then I'm just remembered to align to my desire without forcing it. And I want to offer this too, because sometimes when we believe we're aligned to a desire, we're often aligned more to the idea of how to get it. So every thought is two thoughts. The first is the inspired thought. Ooh, I want to get a new car. Then the second thought is, okay, I need to have this amount of money. I need to get this amount of insurance. And that ends up becoming the dominant thought. So as we allow ourselves to say, okay, Spirit is going to start to lay the groundwork for how those things are going to come into play. My job is to allow myself to smell the new car smell, to look at the paint, to be excited about the extra features, the navigation, whatever the car does. When you go into that place, then Spirit can inadvertently bring in things that you couldn't even imagine. And it happens for me often. So play with this, Taurus. I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, let's go on to Gemini. All right, Gemini. What is up for you this week? It's funny, as I start to say that, I got the image of partnerships coming in. So I don't know if the last couple of weeks we've been talking about partnerships for Gemini, but it seems like that might be coming up. Let's see. Our first angel is Archangel Gabriel. The second is Vanessa. The third is Archangel Michael. And the final is Seraphina. Okay. So here's Archangel Gabriel. She'll talk about having, the lighting. She'll talk about having an important life's purpose in arts and communications. And, guys, I really believe this whole world now is in some level arts and communications. People have access to expressing themselves on so many mediums now. But what Archangel Gabriel also says is if you're insecure about something, please turn it over to her. Now, I want to offer this idea about feeling insecure about something. If we don't have a passion for something, we have no insecurity about it. We don't even care. If we want something, it will naturally trigger a little insecurity. It's the human experience. But if we can shift that insecurity or not shift it, but add to the idea that there's passion involved here, then I can kind of take the prickliness of insecurity off the table, and then it's easier to give it over to Archangel Gabriel and say thank you for helping me to achieve what I want. Because here's Vanessa saying, are you going to make your decisions based on faith or fear? And fear is really just being stuck in the dominant thought of how will I make it happen. So Archangel Michael is saying, have the courage to trust us. Now, when I say trust spirit, this is not like kind of willy-nilly where you just kind of stand out in the rain and, okay, someone bring me an umbrella. But it is working in vibrational concert with spirit. So as you stand in that faithful dynamic, you literally raise your vibration up to a place of being able to manifest and invite in what you want. Because here it is, Gemini. Here's Seraphina saying there's a happy change coming to your family. Now, she's holding a baby. It doesn't necessarily mean a baby. But what I want to say is this could be a shift in your partnerships to a more cooperative place. We've got this eclipse coming tomorrow here in the United States. I believe that it's on the 22nd in other parts of the world. These eclipses don't necessarily have to usher in something challenging or something negative. They can usher in things that we have been wanting to experience, and we're starting to get nervous and feeling insecure that maybe it isn't going to happen. So I really feel like this is a time of utilizing the energy of the eclipse to thank God and the angels for giving us everything that we want. And I want to offer you this too, guys. When you're contemplating what you want and you get a little bit in the road of how am I going to make it happen, don't resist the thought. Just kind of acknowledge it. It's easier to let it flow if you do that. Any sort of resistance is a block. And we humans are full of resistance. It's just the nature of the beast. Okay, here we go for Cancer. I like to call you moon children. I think it's such a beautiful little image in my mind. I don't know. Again, here we have the full moon coming, the eclipse. We got the image of Grandpa Munster taking, he used to take moon baths. I don't know if you remember the show, The Munsters. Okay, Seraphina is our first angel for Cancer. The second is Astera. The third is Archangel Michael. And the final is Daniel. Okay, so Seraphina talks about having abundance, talks about God being in charge of how the money that you need will show up. I want to offer you this idea. I like to take the word money off the table and replace it with resources, because oftentimes some will need something, and sometimes somebody will just come in and provide a service that we couldn't have anticipated. Cancer, Astera is saying in your opportunity or obstacle to reach for the stars with your dreams and your desires and not to compromise. When I talk about not compromising, this is not about not compromising with other human beings, because we live in a cooperative world. What I'm talking about is when you say to spirit, you want something, thank you so much for bringing all those resources to me. I'm not compromising about wanting those resources. And I want to say this too. I don't like to put a number on things. Sometimes we think, oh, if I had $1 million, I'd be so happy. Well, maybe if you had $10 million, you'd be more happy. I want to offer you to be limitless in some ways. It's like being specific and being broad at the same time. Thank you for those resources. So there I'm being specific, but I'm also being broad, and I'm not compromising. And I'm having the courage to let Archangel Michael protect me as I make that shift into that bigger dynamic of what I want. Because here's Daniel, the angel of marriage. Now, I want to offer this idea. It could be that Cancers are looking for partnerships or looking for resources, jobs. This is not just marriage. When we take a job, we literally marry ourselves to that entity. So I want to offer the idea that Daniel will talk about not just bringing in a partnership, but he will talk about my dynamic. What am I thinking as I endeavor that partnership? So if indeed your relationship with money, okay, Cancer, has been challenged, or you've been thinking, wow, I don't know, money doesn't come to me very easily, or I always have to struggle. This is an opportunity for you to look at money differently, to be more courageous in resources. It's hard when we have a job where we know, okay, we're going to make $500 a week, and we think to ourselves, well, how am I going to get any more money from after, if I make $500 a week? That's where you get yourselves locked up, Cancer. This is where, as you turn over your desires to spirit, you don't know. Maybe you buy a lottery ticket. Maybe you walk down the street and you find $100 on the ground. You can't always micromanage spirit by trying to figure out how they're going to do what they're going to do to provide what you need. Okay, let's go on to Leo. All right. Leos, what's up for you this week? As I said that, I got the distinct impression that using this eclipse to really make a declaration to spirit about where you want to be and where you want to go. Hi, Arkansas. All right, Leo rising. Yes, this is you. This is for you. Let's see what's up. All right, our first angel is Sonia. The second is Archangel Uriel. The third is Ray. And the final is Archangel Michael. Wow, okay. So very interesting. Sonia talks about a deceased loved one saying that they're happy and safe in heaven and watching over you. But for me, with so many people around the world, this is really your spirit guides that are with you and watching over you. And I want to say this, I feel like, as I said that, Leo, your spirit guides are wanting to engage and actively communicate with you. I've got Archangel Uriel in the opportunity or the obstacle, and this is a card of frustration, and I want to say this is, I want to offer this idea. When I say opportunity or obstacle, every opportunity has an inherent obstacle, and every obstacle has an inherent opportunity. So here, if for some reason you felt frustrated, then your guides are saying, turn that frustration over to us. You may be trying to exact that answer, that dynamic, that job, and it's just has not been happening. Here's Ray in the angel's advice. Again, turning over your desires in a thankful energy. Thank you for giving me the eyes to look at things from a new perspective. Thank you for letting me subside that frustration and feeling peace within myself as I endeavor to move forward. Because I also have Archangel Michael here asking you to have the courage to make these changes. And it's interesting because I don't know that I think that these are physical changes as much as I feel like this is actually engaging with spirit. And, we listen to our astrological reports every week, and we hear about the dynamics in the houses and, what's going to affect us here and there. But the thing that affects us the most is our own attitude about the dynamics, how we swim through these transits. So when we are in a place of feeling frustrated, because this whole thing for Leo is about turning over whatever's going on right now to spirit. And this is not about blind faith in the sense, it's more like intentional faith. It's like, okay, every athlete, they put in and they work hard and they put in the time, but they also must rest. If you think about how you build a muscle, it tears down before it builds up. So I think that's a little bit of what's going on with Leo, is that there is a energy of not tearing down per se, but how you've been maybe working too hard from your own perspective, trying to make something happen. And it's kind of a time to rest and allow spirit to take the baton and move you to the next step. I hope that made sense. Because I feel like spirit oftentimes will get this inspired thought, and then we act on the inspired thought. And then there's this like observational period where we get to see how spirit then engages our activity in that thought. I hope that made sense. All right, let's go on to Virgo. Made sense to me. All right. What do we have for Virgo this week? Rochelle, Indriel, Shanti, and Maya. Oh, wow. Okay. So, Rochelle, as I honor and follow the guidance of my heart, prosperity is coming to me. I never think of prosperity as money. I think of it as harmonious wealth. I think of the human experience sort of like that piece of coal that goes into that pressurized system and becomes a multifaceted light being. We have various bodies. We have our physical body, our mental body, our emotional body, our spiritual body, our familial body, our financial body. And I think that Rochelle is asking us to honor our heart and our on the things that we want, even if they don't make sense to anybody else. Because here is Indriel in the opportunity or the obstacle, Virgo, shining your light. We are light beings. And this is when we really are honoring the guidance of our heart, we vibrate at a different rate. You know, they say, oh, she has a glow. It's happiness that gives that glow. And what Shanti is offering in the angel's advice is peace, is a sense of feeling at home, at harmony with myself. And this is so cool for you, Virgo, because this ends with Maya. This is like, Maya is my card of schooling and education. And there may be plenty of you Virgos going to school. But for me, this is always my energetic education. It's as I honor and follow the guidance of my heart, I vibrate in a more joyful energy. And in vibrating in a more joyful energy, I become a magnet for the things that I like, that I want to experience, that I have been inviting in. This is kind of exciting because as I recall, and I usually don't remember too much, but I feel like Virgo has been getting a little bit, Virgo and Capricorn have been getting a little bit about, loosening up a little bit and being more playful. And it sounds like in this week, Virgo has somehow, as a collective, kind of engaged in that dynamic and lightening up a little bit about, hi, Kala. Good to see you. Okay, let's go on to Libra. I don't know if you guys realize, but Libra is the only zodiac sign that does not have a living creature in the symbol. It's the scales. Okay. What is up for Libra? All right. Our first angel is Xana. The second is Opal. The third is Layla. And the final is Sonia. Very interesting. Okay. So Xana talks about Libra being protected from all types of harm, that the worst is behind you now. I want to say this. When I think of this, I think of it more as spiritual protection, emotional protection. I don't necessarily think of it as physical protection because I don't think as a collective that spirit will show me people being physically hurt. But how I want to say this for Libra is this feels like I have Opal in the opportunity, the obstacle. This feels like your dreams are being protected. The things that Libra wants to experience in this world are being protected. And it's time for us to relax and allow, Libra is the sign of the scales. So it's going to want balance and to look at both sides of the story. And if you look at both sides of the story, you can get caught in the dominant thought of how will it happen? How will the things I want manifest? I really feel like Xana offers us the protection by staying in the inspired thought that all my dreams are being cared for in heaven and on earth, those that I'm currently experiencing and those that I have in my future, in my vision board, the things that I want to call forth. Because here's Layla, again, spending time in nature. I really believe that nature is God's easiest way, and the angels, their easiest way to connect with us, to give us those signs, those omens. Last week, we had one of the people in the chat talking about seeing a falcon, and falcons are so cool. They're different than hawk. Falcon is about liberation. It's a little bit a slightly more, I feel a little bit more of an aggressive energy and grabbing onto what I want. Very courageous energy. So as you give yourself the permission to just, even as I said, look out on your patio, go out, look out just through your window. You never know what spirit can bring, fly by that will, give you that omen. And it's not always just hummingbirds and butterflies, okay? It can be all sorts of things. Because here in the final position, Libra, I'm on Libra, right? I have Sonia. Sonia is your guides. It's Xana is saying that you're not only being protected, we are here actively watching over you and attempting to communicate. And as you take on that childlike innocence of, of the magical dynamic, magic to me is just alignment. It is absolute pure alignment to my intention, to my desires. And in doing that, spirit just brings right on in. Okay, so that's what I want to say for Libra this week. Allow yourself to know that if you've been feeling a little bit of a roller coaster, or let's say this, I'm a Libra sun. This last week in Southern California, it was raining like crazy. I mean, I honestly thought I was going to have to build an ark after 4 days, and it was quiet. And I realized I kind of got in a little bit of a funk from all the rain. I just wasn't very busy. And I had to sort of remind myself that everything is secular, that this isn't going to last, and not get caught up in that, 15 degrees. Dear God, Tammy, I don't think I could do that. I do not think I could live. I would never get off my couch. I'd be bundled up. Oh, I'm just such a Southern California girl. Okay, so let's go on to Scorpio. All right, Scorpio, what is up for you this week? All right. Our first angel is Astera. The second is Teresa. The third is Caressa. And the final is Archangel Uriel. Okay. So this really seems a little bit like a running theme, a little bit about this with this eclipse week of, we're on Scorpio now, Jennifer. We're going on to Scorpio. Astera says, you deserve the best. Reach for your dreams and your desires without compromise. This is not about not compromising with the people in your life. This is about not compromising with spirit. It's about an intention that supersedes any physical experience that you're having right now. It is a faith and a knowing, because I have Teresa here. And Scorpio, Teresa will talk to me. It's a card, a little bit of worry. It's also a card where I'm putting everybody else ahead of me. And I don't want to do that out of balance. I know some of you are mothers and fathers and have responsibilities to other human beings in your life, but it's also so incredibly important to take care of yourself. And as you give yourself permission, Astera is saying to reach for your dreams and your desires. And Teresa is saying that you're getting caught up in other people's agendas or other people's expectations of what your role is for them in their lives. And I think that that's presenting a little bit of a challenge for you, because I think you're really wanting to individualize for yourself, be who you want to be, experience the things you want. Because Caressa is, in the Angel's Advice, is talking about the end of a life cycle. And I think of it like a chapter, and sort of at certain parts of our life. I know when I turned 50, which was a long time ago now, it really made me realize that my life was, it was time to claim the things that I wanted. And if I didn't take that dynamic now, when was I going to do it? And when I say claim that dynamic, it was not about taking action and running out into the world and banging things up in the physical. It was more about going to spirit and saying, I'm dead serious about this. I want to live this life. I want to leave this legacy. And I had no idea when I was affirming my I used to, every morning I say an affirmation. I am a harmoniously wealthy, financially free, spiritual healer and teacher. And it goes on after that. And when I started saying that affirmation, I had no idea how that would come into play. All I knew is that's what I wanted. So I feel like as Scorpio allows themselves to just declare the things that they want without compromise in a thankful way, not even grateful, just thankful, it feels like things will start to move, because I have Archangel Uriel here. And this is, again, a card of frustration, a card of anger, a card of unforgiveness. And I think that this might be coming up with this eclipse might be bringing forth sort of a crescendo of people saying, okay, I kind of want to take care of me now. I want to make sure I'm feeling good about me, because if I feel good about me, then I'm going to feel good about you, and that's going to ripple out. So often we think, oh, I've got to take care of that other person. I've got to take care of my child. I've got to take care of this. And it starts to stress us out and starts to get us all wonky. And then we get angry. And we get angry at the situation, and we'll have that moment, the straw that broke the camel's back. So I feel like for Scorpio this week, as you claim yourselves back a little bit, then you will be less frustrated with the dynamics going on around you. And then that way Spirit will be able to move things forward. So utilize this eclipse to kind of declare that it's Scorpio's time. It's Scorpio's time. Okay, let's go on to Sagittarius. Okay, everybody, what's up for Sagittarius this week? Whoa. Cards are falling all over the place. All right. Here we go, Sag. Aurora, Yvonne, Bethany, and Indriel. Oh, this is fun. Okay, so Aurora says, you're flying high right now, which may threaten others. Don't descend, because they will soon be inspired by your example. So for me, Sagittarius, I don't necessarily think that people will be threatened by you, like physically threatened. Mostly for me, when I see Aurora, I think that I'm doing things outside the box. I'm doing things that don't make sense to other people, or I'm purporting a certain vibration that doesn't make sense. Most people are very realistic and practical. I am not realistic and practical in a human sense, because I always go to Spirit and start there before I endeavor. So what I'm asking now is that as you allow yourself to think outside the box, to maybe go about what it is you're endeavoring from your own personal perspective, because your vibration, your belief in yourself, the things that you want, and your excitement about that is going to start to move things around. It's going to start to shift things and give Spirit an opportunity to open things up, because I have Yvonne here asking you to be vulnerable to your desires. And then I have Bethany in the angel's advice saying it's an excellent time to take care of yourself. And this is the big take care of yourself. When we are vulnerable to our dreams and we think outside the box and we do things that other people go, wait a minute, you have to have a job. You can't just sit in your house and expect people to call and schedule appointments. And then I say, well, yes, I do. I sit in my house and I put my little beam up through my head and I tell Spirit to bring all the energies who will best be served by my gifts and my talents. And then the phone rings and people start booking sessions, and they find value in it, because here Sagittarius is Indriel, the light worker. Spirit look, Jupiter's in your sign. This is your year to shine your light. Do the things you want to do, because I believe that I'm getting chills all over the place. Spirit is going to really do some funny things for you. And when I say funny, I don't mean funny like funny haha. I mean funny like, are you kidding me? How did that happen? I don't know how it happened. That's what Spirit did. I just received it. So that's what we want to offer you. Be ready to receive and to shine your light, and know that everybody may not understand exactly why you're doing what you're doing, but pretty soon they're going to be like, hey, I want some of that. Tell me how you did that. I want to know how to do that. And then you'll start teaching people about your vibration. Okay, here we go for Capricorn. All right, my little goats. Where I live, there's a bunch of brush up on the hills, up on the hillside, and they have herds of goats that go up there and they graze on the grass. It's kind of cool, and it sure beats a whole bunch of guys up there with lawnmowers, I'll tell you. Leo, yes, we did Leo already. We're on Capricorn right now. And go by your rising sign, guys. Okay, Capricorn, what is up for you? All right, so our first set of angels is Grace and Antoinette. And Grace and Antoinette will ask you to have compassion and try to look at things from another person's perspective. We have Archangel Michael in the opportunity or the obstacle saying that you're being protected. He's watching over you, and to have courage to make the changes and the dynamics that you want in your life. I have Astera saying reach for the stars with your dreams and your desires. And we just talked about compromise. This is not about compromising with human beings. This is about not compromising with spirit. This is about setting an intention that says, I'm not taking any prisoners. Because Capricorn, Xana is offering you protection. Now, I want to say this. This is not about, again, physical protection. It's about what I feel like this is really is about maybe having not just compassion for others, but compassion for yourselves, compassion for Capricorn. You're going to go on the eclipse axis starting, I think this one is a Capricorn, but it's on the edge of Leo, kind of Aquarius thing. I don't know exactly the degree, but if for some reason this week feels like you are not getting enough done, or you're feeling thwarted for some reason in your efforts, I feel like give yourself a little bit of a break. And if you're frustrated with other people, let's say you have a work environment and you've been waiting for a coworker to finish up something so you could get moving on, try to be patient with yourself and with them this week. It just feels like a little bit choppy this week, and I feel like I just kind of have to surrender to the week, to the dynamic for Capricorn this week. I feel like you're really kind of wanting to move forward, and it's not, there's other things that are getting in the way, and you're just going to be frustrated. So rather than go into that frustration, just allow yourself to say, okay, it's just what it is. All right, let's go on to Aquarius. It may be in Leo, but I think there's something, Tammy, where it's at the degree where it's like leaving Leo and then going into Cancer, and then on the other side it's leaving Aquarius and going into Capricorn. So it's on that little edge. So I think this is the last one that Leo Aquarius will feel it all, because by the time the next set of eclipses come, the degrees will have changed or been further into the sign, I guess. I'm not an astrologer. I'm still learning. I do my astrology intuitively. It's weird. Darren and I kind of have fun. He'll throw me a chart and ask me what I see, and it's funny how I see things. I feel like the planets talk to me, kind of like the way spirit talks to me. Okay, here we go, Aquarius. Our first angel is Caressa. The second is Merlina. The third is Bethany. And the final is Teresa. Okay, so here we are talking about the eclipses and how that's going to be ending for Aquarius. And here we have Caressa saying you're at the end of a life cycle, that new happiness awaits you, and to call upon your guides and your angels to comfort and guide you as you close this chapter. I want to say this, our lives have many chapters. People, we start off as children, and then we go into college, and that's one chapter, and then we meet our husbands and wives, and that's another chapter. A day in some ways can be a chapter, because when I look at this for Aquarius, it feels like we're just talking about you coming off of all of those eclipses, and that's what that feels like to me. It feels like there's still a little bit of residual choppiness, because I have Merlina in the opportunity, the obstacle, saying that you're confused, to do more research. And then I have Bethany saying to take care of yourself. So this doesn't actually feel like Aquarius needs to go out and do research as much as it's almost a little bit of a timeout. I have Teresa here at the end saying it's time to take care of you, stop worrying about everybody else, and sort of allow yourself to, I don't know. I feel like for Aquarius this week, it's almost like a quiet week of kind of swimming through, as this eclipse brings forth whatever fated event or whatever conclusion in your life, rather than trying to jump into action into the next chapter, it's more about allowing yourself a rest in between, allowing yourself to sort of sit back and recalibrate where you want to go and how you want to go. So let's just say this. Let's give you an example. Let's say you've decided in the year 2019 that you're going to get into shape. And, right now you're thinking, okay, I'm going to start running. I feel like maybe don't start running this week. Maybe it's time to just sort of open up to I don't know, I want to open up a little bit and say, mm, yeah, this is the thing, Aquarius. I feel like Spirit is asking you not to actually take action. I feel like they're asking you to process the conclusion that is taking place or the conclusion that has just taken place. And rather than trying to jump into action to fill the void or to fill that space, allow Spirit to lead you through that space. That way you can feel more guided and less worried or have less trepidation. Okay, let's go on to our final sign, Pisces. Danny Lou, I did do Cancer, and you can go back and hear it on the replay. Okay, last one. Oh, I wanted to show you Lucky. Wonder if he's around. Hold on. Oops. Hold on, guys. I want to show you my little dog, my Pisces dog. Come here, little man. Oh. Come here. I wanted to introduce y'all to my love. This is the love of my life, my little Luxsters. He's a double Pisces, and he is so sweet and sensitive, and he has an Aries moon. It's so cute. Okay, say hi, everybody. Okay. All right, let's do Pisces. Okay. Give it a good shuffle. Hey, I wanted to ask, did you all have a good week? I've had so much fun for Pisces the last couple weeks. Been excited for you. Anything exciting happened this last week? Anything breakthroughs? All right. Our first angel is Merlina. Second is Athena. The third is Azure. And the final is Teresa. Okay. All right. So Merlina says you're confused and indecisive because you don't have enough information. Okay. I want to say this for Pisces. It's interesting to me because that's not hitting me as I need to do research. It's hitting me more like I'm confused because things haven't revealed themselves yet. I'm still in a bit of a pause or a bit of, how can I phrase this? I feel like Pisces has taken a certain amount of action for things, and now Spirit has to take the next step before you take the next step, because that's where the confusion and indecision really feels like a pause to me. Like, okay, all right, because then you're going to be called into action. Athena is going to ask you to lovingly assert yourself, and Azure is telling you that your desired outcome will happen in the near future. But the future is not this week, Pisces, because I think what Merlina is saying is that you just need to hang out a little bit and not worry so much, okay? Because I feel like this is, again, where Spirit, here we have this eclipse coming up, and this may be where Spirit has either bringing in something or removing something that's been an obstacle so that you can then take the action that you need to. When Azure comes in and she's saying your desired outcome is happening in the very near future, you don't have to force it. Force is a bit of a resistant energy. There's a little bit of worry attached to it. Hello, Teresa. So when we start to worry, because we get into that human body that says, well, I've been waiting, the time is this, I feel like, it should have happened by now. Those thoughts are actually blocks. They're actually stops. They're speed bumps. So I want to offer Shauna, feeling scared is actually going to, in some ways, it's not like I don't want you to resist feeling scared because your husband lost his job, but I want you to start to allow yourself faith that he was going to get a better job. And that the reason that maybe he lost his job is because it was slowly eroding his soul and he was not enjoying himself. So when you think of that, oh, yay, my husband is going to get to find a new job that will fill his heart, then we can kind of take the worry off. And then that gives Spirit an opportunity to then align to that. The challenge is that when we are focused in on what the problem is, we cannot get to what the solution is. They do not align. So we have to go into what the solution is that will allow us then for spirit to, and the solution is not figuring out how to get out of the problem. The solution is feeling, how does it feel once this thing has been rectified? Once my husband has that job, I feel great. Money's coming in. We can Oh, wow, lost everything in a fire last Saturday. Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that, orphan. I lost everything I own in 2003 in a move back from North Carolina. And I will tell you, in the beginning, it was devastating. And after 2 years of going through insurance and all that challenges with that, I'll tell you, it was the most liberating and most freeing thing that ever happened to me. So I really want to offer you solace and comfort during this time. But I also want you to know that, like a phoenix, you can rise out of the ashes, and allow yourself a new beginning. Okay, guys, that is going to be it for this week. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive guide, and empowerment coach. And if you'd like to book a reading with me, please feel free to go to Lotta's website. I'm under the readers menu bar, and we can just set something up. We'll do it via Skype. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. No, Heidi, I'm no longer in North Carolina. I'm in Laguna Beach, California. I left North Carolina, loved North Carolina, beautiful state, beautiful state. I'm just not good with weather. I'm just a California girl. All right, guys, take care. Sending all you lots of love, and I'll see you next week. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.